I'm Jewel. I am from Cambridge, Ontario, born and raised. My pageantry journey is weird because technically I've only been doing pageants for 4 years now, but I can't remember when the idea of competing in a pageant first got ingrained in me. Honestly, I woke up one night after having a dream about a beauty pageant and was like, this is it, I'm entering a beauty pageant. So I started Googling or asking people, and unfortunately, the feedback I got was really negative, and people were like, no, pageants will call you ugly, they'll tell you everything that's wrong with you. And I had low self-esteem as a kid, so my mom was very much like, I want to shelter you, I don't want to put you in this position, because she was also hearing this negative feedback. I can't pinpoint exactly where my low confidence came from, but I think it was just, I was constantly being told you're not pretty enough to do this, or I had glasses from a young age, and back then glasses weren't cool, as my mom likes to say. You didn't really see people wearing glasses, and I had frizzy curly hair. I was literally everything that the magazines were not showing. And I went through puberty at a young age, so I felt awkward and uncomfortable in my body, and it was just a combination of all this, and constantly feeling like people were judging me for how I looked really made me feel like I wasn't confident and I shouldn't be sure in myself. I should want to change. And as I grew, this obsession or this connection to pageants just stayed with me. It was something that every year I was looking into it more and more, and I kept saying to my mom, there's a reason that I'm still feeling drawn to this, despite the fact that people are telling me don't do it. And I was like, you know what, screw this, I'm doing this for myself. I'm entering my first pageant. And I was 17 at the time, and I was completely fueled out of spite and wanting to prove people wrong. And my first pageant was kind of a rocky journey, because I was 17. It was Miss Teen Canada, it was a big pageant, and I was not sure myself. I wasn't even sure why I was competing, besides the fact that I wanted to prove other people wrong. And then I remember I just started receiving this positive feedback from my community, from all these community members I hadn't talked to or hadn't connected with yet, and they were suddenly backing me 110%. And it was unreal to see that platform open up for me. And even though I didn't win, I still was able to have that footing in my community and to be able to make that difference. I had other girls come up to me in the hallway saying, well, I remember people calling you ugly, and you went and proved them wrong, and now I look up to you, and all this stuff. So that kind of just fueled me to continue. And that first day of Miss Teen Canada, I was so worried. I was wearing one of my favorite dresses, but I was like, what if they don't like it? This was just a $20 dress. What if they don't like it? And one of the first girls I met came up to me and was like, oh, I love your dress, and just started having a conversation with me. And I was like, no way. And I think that's what the most common question I get asked about pageants is, are girls actually nice? And they are some of the most welcoming girls I have ever met. Every girl I have competed with has welcomed me there, because I feel we all have this mutual understanding that we all belong there. We all have a purpose to be there. I think just suddenly finding this place where I felt I fit in and I was accepted, despite not feeling comfortable in my body, not feeling I should be accepted even, was what started building my confidence. And I started to look into more natural-based pageants, because Miss Teen Canada is personality-based, and that was what resonated with me, something that was based on what you were doing in your community and what you wanted to promote, rather than how you looked and if you fit this standard. So I found National Canadian Miss, which was a natural pageant, and I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. I was just okay, I know this is my path. And through my year as a regional title holder with them, I started advocating about volunteering in the community, and I found that that was something that I could literally talk about for hours. I was like, yeah, let me talk to you about volunteering. I always joke that originally I was voluntold. I had no say in it. My grandparents were pillars in our community. It kind of ran down our bloodline that then my mom was volunteering in the community, and when I was old enough, she was like, okay, you're coming with me and you're helping whether you like to or not. So I used to joke I was forced to. But I always did kind of feel oh, I like doing this, and I don't mind spending the time with my family. I really like that I have this opportunity to spend this time outside of the house contact. I wore my glasses when I competed for National Canadian Miss, and it was a big like hesitance for me, because I was like, I don't see pageant girls wear glasses, but I feel like I should because I can't see without them. And so I decided to wear them and I won. And then a little 6-year-old girl ended up competing for National Canadian and a regional qualifier and was telling me, well, I want to wear my glasses because you wore them. And I know that I can win while wearing them. And I was like, I have shivers right now, because I was like, I actually broke that pageant stereotype, because we don't see pageant girls wear glasses often. So when we see that one that's wearing glasses, just like when we saw Miss USA win with natural hair, it just shows that it can be done. And just because right now it's a minority doesn't mean that it can't be done. And it's just promoting people to continue that trend. I suddenly realized I was making a difference and showing that beauty queens are people that work in their communities. They are people that advocate for causes dear to them, and they are so much more than what meets the eye. I grew so much as a person through pageantry, but it wasn't an individual journey. It was thanks to the girls that I met, thanks to the directors, the sponsors, and listening to their stories. So when I volunteer and I hear the impact that I'm making, it makes me want to continue and give back to my community, because I'm listening to the stories of everyone that I'm helping and listening to how I am making a contribution in their lives. And I think it also gives us this new perspective, because even though we think like our world is the reality is really just based on what we're seeing. So if we're hearing other stories and we're becoming more in tune with what's actually going on in different groups, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, then we can have a better understanding of what needs to be done to move forward.